Hey everybody, this week we're going to talk about some Space Wolf Terminators. It's from the plastic box set from Games Workshop. As you can see, I've assembled them up with some parts from the regular Terminator set. Got that guy there. Got some regular Terminator legs mixed in, and bodies. I think as well as some guns. Just to extend the box a bit more, I'm going to mix in some other Terminators, and I also wanted the Whirlwind launcher there. So started out with a black spray paint, as you can see. Then we go here with, this is Necron Abyss, Games Workshop Foundation. It's very, very similar to Reaper Midnight Blue, which is the blue triad, the dark blue and the blue triad that I'm going to be using. Then I go up here to Idean Dark Sun. That's the Games Workshop Foundation. It's the darker yellow of the two. And I've got some scorched brown here on all the fur. And any bits that are going to be gold as well have been scorched brown. So little bits everywhere. All the fur tassels scorched brown. So at this point here, it's got three colors. Fourth color added is bolt gun metal. So just all the parts that are going to be silverish colors. And Tolaran flesh for the skin. So again, with the foundations here, really help get the base coats down fast. Adding the Reaper bone shadow there for any skulls and bone bits, and Reaper stone shadow as well for the crux terminus on the shoulders. And let's see what else we got here. Starting to do the first level highlights on the blue. So again, that's the blue. It's like the midnight blue, twilight blue, and going to go all the way up to snow shadow in the Reaper paints. It's just it's like Space Wolf's gray. It's like a blue gray, but the triad just really helps to get the colors pre-mixed and in there. So you can see just layering it up. The first layer just in the cracks, and then painting basically all the flat surfaces. With the next layer, the layer after that is just bringing it towards the edge, and then the final layer will be just some edge highlights. You guys see how that works there. It goes on a little bit slower than I'd like for a set of troops, but since there's only 5 guys in this, it's okay that it goes a bit slower. If I was doing a big group of orcs, I wouldn't want to have to do that much work, because with the Terminator armor, you kind of have to be careful not to paint over the other areas. So I got shining gold there over top of the scorched brown, just kind of an overbrush, trying to get as much of the areas as you can without getting into the shadows. This is the Deneb Stone here I'm going to be using for all the scrolls. And you can see I've started to do some edge highlighting on the yellow there with Tausert ochre. So the two foundations, kind of, one is the base coat, the other one's the highlight. And also you can see a bit more in that picture there in the background. I've got the Badab black wash over top of the bolt gun metal. Bit more there. There's the crux terminus, starting to highlight that up with the bone triad. Sorry, not the bone triad, the stone triad from Reaper. And see, I've left those little bits there darker on the backs of the Terminators. Things are really starting to come together now, and almost tabletop ready, but a couple more things. Finishing up the stone. Sorry, getting that mixed up. Stone on the top there, and you can see sort of how the overbrushing ends up looking on all the gold bits. Now I'm working my way up on the fur here. So started out with a scorched brown, then kind of like a stippling / overbrush of Beastal Brown, Games Workshop Beastal Brown, and then snakebite leather on top of that, and then bubonic brown just sort of at the edges with a bit of bleached bone highlight, and then going back and kind of just getting in the areas with some Devlin mud. That's sort of the progression. You can check out my other articles on miniwargaming.com that show a bit more detail about that. The same idea, just working from the bottom up, so each layer progressively goes less and sort of acts as a highlight in one area, and then it's the base coat in the next. And you end up with a nice sort of tonal variation working its way down towards the ends of the limbs and the underbelly of whatever bits you're working on. Now for the bases, just wanted plain snow bases, but snow doesn't look great on a super flat base. So what I used was some acrylic gel medium. It's like a toothpaste consistency, clear gel stuff that you get at the art store, and you just kind of put it on with a toothpick or something, and get a bit of texture on there. It looks like an oil painting sort of a thing. You get a little bit of waviness to it, so it kind of looks like snow drifts. At least that's my idea. And then covered up with some Games Workshop snow flock, which is kind of like super short static grass that's white. It required 2 layers to get good coverage, and so I put it in with a bit of white paint mixed in with some white glue, just to make it a bit more opaque. Now for this cape here, I started out with a scab red, so that's like a really dark red, Games Workshop, and then layered on really thin the blood red Games Workshop paint, and then went back and just kind of blended it a little bit with some bell red wash, just to sort of help blend things in. And then at the very end, I'm going to go over with a little bit of blaze orange, just to get the high edges on it. And there we go. We're all done. The flesh that was done with the Reaper tanned flesh triad. A little bit darker than I did some of my other Space Wolves. Maybe just to give these guys a bit more, I don't know, aged look or whatever. But what else do we have here that I didn't talk about? All the scrolls, they were given a Devil in Mud wash, and then highlighted again with Deneb Stone and a bit of scorched brown writing. The seals on there, they're given the same color as the red here, just the scab red, blood red highlight, and a bit of blaze orange. The eyes were done same red, and so are these, and that's about it. You might be able to see some decals on here. We'll get into that in a bit. I didn't do anything special with the power sword, because I wanted to leave that just simple for these guys, because it's a set of troops. The eye there actually kind of turned out not bad. Just a bit of skull white and scorched brown, and the teeth are just a bit of skull white as well. Going through here, we nothing else here that I haven't covered. And okay, the underside of this part here, that was done with the leather brown triad from Reaper, and just highlighted up just to give it a bit more of a light color. So there you can see that's one of the already inscribed shoulder pads on the right shoulder. Then we got looking at this guy here, so you can see his eyes there looking down a little bit. Turned out pretty well, I guess. I really like this sort of dynamic pose he's got here with those just the regular Terminator legs, regular Terminator body, and then they use Space Wolf Terminator arms. I believe I added the little wolf pelt tail there. Yeah, not too much extra detail on this guy. I don't think I mentioned it, but there's the Griffin Sepia wash that goes on the yellow bits. That's one of the Space Wolf decals. Used Microset and Microsol to put it on there. Make sure it went on nice and smooth. And that's about it for that guy. Here we got sort of our Logan Wolverine kind of look going there with the twin lightning claws. Again, just bolt gun metal with a wash and chainmail highlight. Could have done them with a lightning pattern, but wanted to do these guys a bit quicker. You got the inside of the pelt there. That's the leather brown triad from Reaper. The stone bits and some bone bits as well. And for the hair, I did them all with gray hair just to make it simple. So using different washes just to spread it out a bit. Again, nothing extra on any of these guys really. So these are the regular Terminator legs, Space Wolf Terminator body, and Space Wolf Terminator arms. One of the little shoulder pads on there too. Bit of a wolf pelt that covers up most of the shoulder pad and the emblem. So yeah, this was the one that so this is the whirlwind launcher from the regular Terminator box, but you got a Space Wolf Terminator torso and legs. It's a regular Terminator arm with a wolf pelt added, I believe, and then a Space Wolf Terminator chain fist arm. The idea that if I ever combine these guys with Logan Grimnar and give them Relentless, then I can drop pod them in and dump the whirlwind launcher on the enemy right away. One of the winning combinations with Space Wolves, or at least it was when back at the beginning. Maybe it isn't by now, but I'm sure you'll let me know in the comments. A little bit of drilling out of the barrels there. I used a 1/16 inch bit, but just didn't go all the way in, otherwise it would have been too deep. So here we are, all 5 of them, all lined up, and some dynamic poses you got there. Looking over. I realize that both these guys are looking the same direction, but I think that's okay. On the back, and I really like how the cape stands out with the red there. It really looks great. Anyways, hope you enjoyed it. Check Mini Wargaming for more. Talk to you later.